In 1974, what is now known as WESTAF was formed and based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. After growing the number of programs and services offered to the West, the organization decided to move to Denver, Colorado. With that decision came a radical new idea. What if WESTAF was sustained financially on its own?
Anthony was an entrepreneur. The man is visionary, and he saw the potential of an entrepreneurial approach to a social mission and using systems that are of value to the field, that are good enough that people will purchase them. And then that will feed the mission of the organization and its social mission.
With new executive director Anthony Radich on board, the organization decided to pursue helping artists and organizations through a wide variety of technology. The thought behind the shift was to support the West using technology and earn some money to help support the programmatic work and even sustain these opportunities.
That was a move away from total dependence on NEA funding. It would help ameliorate some of the difficulties that arose by not having enough money to continue to fund programs and things that were important. They started to embark on this weird new world that suddenly called the World Wide Web.
WESTAF wasn't afraid to take some big swings. One of the first things WESTAF worked on was a program called Circuit Riders. It was a telephone and online consultancy service to connect arts professionals with qualified consultants.
And they threw all kinds of stuff at the wall. They had a program called Circuit Riders, which was to kind of try to help folks master the new technology. There was something called 900 Arts, which was a phone number that artists could call, and they could actually get coaching over the phone.
While the organization saw success with the program initially, completing 144 contracts in the first year, the program ended in 1998 due to staff and cost constraints. That same year, WESTAF launched a pilot program called Arts Computer. The goal was to put computers and sophisticated software into the hands of art administrators at a low cost.
WESTAF was going to lease computers and software. Well, I mean, you can imagine the nightmare that occurred from that because nobody knew. So I truly admire that.
With the increase of access to computers, WESTAF decided to discontinue this service in 1999. The 90s led to a boom of online activity for WESTAF. In 1997, WESTAF launched its first website. The first site included arts resources and shared information for the West. In 1998, WESTAF launched ArtJob.
The thing that was probably the first of the true earned income projects that paid off was ArtJob, which started out as a newsletter. They produced them once a month, and this was a back of the book thing, that in that newsletter there was this jobs listing. Well, they didn't really know how it would work, and it became increasingly successful. It really did. And at first it was called Job Bank, and it was a clearinghouse for careers all over the United States, anything to do with the arts or teaching the arts. And within 2 years, it had 2,300 subscribers. In 1993, it shifted to become what then became ArtJob. They began to shift it, and it became an email newsletter. It was one of the very first things that they did as technology. It was just straight email, and it had many, many subscribers to it. It was an online service only, and it succumbed in 2015. It lasted a very long time.
Artist Register launched in 2001 and was designed to serve as a marketing tool for visual artists. Since Google was still in its infancy, Artist Register was a good way for artists to be found online. At the peak, the site served 1,500 artists and grossed $270,000. With the success of Artist Register, WESTAF created two similar sites, Performing Arts Register and Writers Register. These were similar, but focused on performing artists and writers.
So, none of what we did then and none of what you're doing now would have been possible without Anthony Radich's vision and the support of our board at the time was critical for us to have the permission to build things, and sometimes for those things to fail, but hopefully more would be successful than the things that failed.
WESTAF learned much over the course of those early technology programs and shifted the thinking for many in how a nonprofit can support itself. The organization took those teachings and began ramping up their technology work that would last more than 20 years.